These guys are, I used to think, you know what, DDP's got him. And I still think that, dude, he might just be too strong to be muscled around like this.
Yeah.
But Chimaev is truly on a different level.
I think DDP beats him.
I think he could, and I am leaning that way. Chimaev, who's a killer.
Yeah.
He's a murderer.
Yep.
He goes out there, I'm going to drag this guy in the first round, destroy him. For a second, he goes, what the?
Yeah.
If you can snap that on Chimaev for a second.
If Chimaev cannot get him down.
He will, but yeah.
But let's say he does get him down.
Yep.
And he doesn't finish him, right? I think he's spent.
MMA Guru and Demetrius Johnson have just shared their insights on Khamzat Chimaev and Dricus Du Plessis' anticipated matchup. On the other hand, Dana White said UFC 319 will take place on August 16th at the United Center in Chicago, returning to the arena for the first time in 6 years. He announced that the main event will feature middleweight champion Dricus Du Plessis defending his title against undefeated Khamzat Chimaev. Du Plessis is riding a 7-year win streak, with 20 of his 23 victories coming by finish, including wins over former champions Sean Strickland, Israel Adesanya, and Robert Whittaker. Chimaev holds a perfect record of 16-0 heading into the fight.
Now UFC 319. We're returning to the United Center in Chicago, Illinois, August 16th for the first time in 6 years. In the main event, the middleweight champion, Dricus Du Plessis, will defend his belt against Khamzat Chimaev. Dricus' last 4 wins have come over former champs Sean Strickland, Israel Adesanya, and Robert Whittaker. He hasn't lost in 7 years. 20 of his 23 wins have come by finish, and now he faces the undefeated 16-0 Khamzat Chimaev.
However, MMA Guru said he's not sure what to think anymore about the matchup. He used to believe Dricus Du Plessis would beat Khamzat Chimaev, and he still leans that way, thinking DDP might be too strong to get overpowered. However, he also admitted that Chimaev is on another level. Guru said he wants DDP to win and still slightly favors him, but he's realistic about how dangerous Chimaev is, especially in the first round. He described Chimaev as a round 1 guy and suggested that if Chimaev is going to win, it will likely happen in the opening round.
DDP? I don't know anymore, man. These guys are, I used to think, you know what, DDP's got him. And I still think that, dude, he might just be too strong to be muscled around like this.
Yeah.
But Chimaev is truly on a different level.
I think DDP beats him.
I think he could, and I am leaning that way.
Yeah.
But now I'm real.
Yeah.
You know, I also want DDP to win, but I'm leaning towards DDP.
Yeah.
Because I think the idea of Chimaev is a round 1 guy.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. If he takes out DDP in round 1, he's got him.
On the other hand, Demetrius Johnson said that if Khamzat Chimaev cannot finish Dricus Du Plessis early, he will fade. He pointed to past fights against Gilbert Burns and Kamaru Usman, where Chimaev had dominant positions but failed to end the fight. Johnson believes that if Chimaev cannot figure things out in the first round or 2, Du Plessis will take over with his awkward style and constant pressure. He said Chimaev may be more athletic and traditional, but Du Plessis' unorthodox, lanky approach will give him the edge.
If Chimaev cannot get him down.
He will, but yeah.
But let's say he does get him down.
Yep.
And he doesn't finish him, right? I think he's spent. Because you look at his fights. You look when he fought Gilbert Burns, when he fought Kamaru Usman. He had Kamaru Usman fully mounted, back hooks and everything, right?
Yep.
Working for the choke, pounding him, could not finish him,
Couldn't get him.
The rest of the time, he could not find it was shadow boxer. Granted, he might be sick or whatever.
Yep.
But if he cannot figure it out within those first 2 rounds or the first round he gets him down, I think DDP is gonna do what he does best.
Yep.
He's gonna be awkward. He's gonna be you know, do the kicks, and I think DDP is gonna beat him.
Yeah.
Like
I could see it.
I think Khamzat Chimaev is more athletic, more traditional, but I think that awkwardness of the old what did he say? The lanky man style.
Yep.
I think DDP is gonna put in the bag.
MMA Guru further said that Dricus Du Plessis should not just focus on stuffing takedowns against Khamzat Chimaev. Instead, he suggested that DDP should surprise Chimaev by going on the offensive early, even attempting a takedown himself. According to him, Chimaev expects to dominate in the first round, but if DDP puts him on the back foot right away, it could cause a moment of confusion and break his rhythm. Guru noted that fighters like Robert Whittaker, Kamaru Usman, and even Gilbert Burns never made Chimaev question himself early in the fight. He believes that if DDP can create that hesitation, Chimaev's killer instinct could be disrupted.
So this is why I don't think DDP should go out there like, oh, got stuff to take down. Dude, get on his hips before you.
Yep.
You know? And if he stuffs it, so be it. It'll be the least thing he expects. And for a second, Chimaev, who's a killer.
Yeah.
He's a murderer.
Yep.
He goes out there, I'm going to drag this guy in the first round, destroy him. For a second, he goes, what the?
Yeah.
If you can snap that on Chimaev for a second, Whittaker, he never had a moment in that fight where he thought, what's going on?
It was like, he got me back.
He was complete composure. Same with Usman. Burns had him re-second guess himself.
Yep.
But all the good first rounds he's had, there's never been a snap in his mental game. That always happens in the later rounds. But if DDP shoots on him, there's a moment in Chimaev's head where he goes, what the f are you doing?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, he's not this killer in a fight.
Yeah.
He added that even if Chimaev sprawls or counters the takedown, DDP would still benefit by changing the pace and possibly shifting the momentum. From there, DDP could go for a leg, regain guard, or land elbows from the bottom. Guru emphasized that it is easier to survive in guard than being stuck in side control under Chimaev, who can strike while locking down position. With the new rules allowing knees on the ground, he warned against letting Chimaev settle in dominant spots. Instead, DDP should take control, make strategic choices, and avoid getting trapped in situations where Chimaev thrives.
He's asking a question. He's on my hips.
Yeah.
If he sprawls it, if he gets the whizzer and throws DDP over, and why did DDP do that? Now DDP can go, well, I'm going for a leg.
Yeah.
I'm going to go for a leg. See how he deals with this.
Yep.
I'm going to get guard back.
Yep.
I'm going to see if I can elbow him off bottom position. It's much easier to survive in guard than it is for someone to have
side control
with their body lock, and they can punch you, especially now with knees and you can't play the hand game. Don't get caught up.
Yeah.
Don't get caught up in those positions and choose him.
Moreover, Chael Sonnen said that Durner, who has trained with both fighters, expects an early storm from Khamzat Chimaev, but believes Dricus Du Plessis can survive it and gain the advantage as the fight goes on. He explained that the key difference is conditioning, and every minute that passes works in Du Plessis' favor. Sonnen admitted that a year or even 6 months ago, he would have confidently picked Chimaev to win every round, but his perspective has changed. He now sees what others are seeing, which is the rising greatness of Du Plessis.
Renner has trained with both of them. He said there's going to be an early storm by Chimaev, but he believes Dricus can sustain the storm, and each passing minute favors Dricus. Now, what he's talking about is conditioning. If you asked me about that fight 2 years ago or a year ago, even 6 months ago, I would have quickly dismissed it and told you Chimaev. I would tell you Chimaev every single round. But I don't feel that way anymore. I feel and I'm seeing what other people are feeling and seeing. The greatness of Dricus, it is something that is now not only witnessed, but recognized.
MMA Guru lastly said he believes Dricus Du Plessis will survive the first round and have a competitive second round, even if he gets taken down again. He thinks if he were DDP, he would charge early on Khamzat Chimaev, but he doubts Chimaev will expect that and might think it is a bad idea. Guru predicts that if Du Plessis does shoot, he will aim to pull guard in the center of the cage rather than being trapped against the fence, which would limit his movement and submissions. He believes this strategy will make it easier for Du Plessis to maneuver and attack, giving Chimaev a better position, but also setting up DDP for his own chances. Ultimately, Guru predicts Dricus Du Plessis will win by TKO in the 3rd or 4th round.
I got DDP.
DDP.
I think he'll survive the first round. Second round will be competitive. He might get taken down again.
Okay.
But I think he'll shoot in. I don't know. If I'm DDP, I'm shooting in on Chimaev.
Okay.
He might not be thinking that. He might think that's dumb.
Yeah, I don't think he'll shoot him. I think he'll do.
You know what I mean? He'll choose something. If he is getting taken down, he'd be like, I'm pulling guard.
Yeah, I would hope
dragged.
he had that.
Yeah.
I'll be curious to see if he does have that IQ of like, it's gonna be on my terms where I want you to land.
And I'm not going to be cramped up against a cage.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the center first.
Yep.
If you shoot early, we're in the center of the cage. I'm in guard.
Yep.
I'm not getting cramped up in guard up against the cage where I can't maneuver and I can't get to a leg and I can't pull an arm bar because the cage is there. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I think he takes the center early, doesn't stuff it.
Yep.
Lets it.
Yep.
Flops right to his back, but it'll be so easy for Chimaev. Whereas other people might put up a better sprawl.
Yeah.
It'll be so easy that he'll land better for himself. in a better situation for himself. So I think DDP round 4, round 3 TKO.
Moreover, Jamahal Hill also said he probably favors Dricus Du Plessis in the fight because he has doubted him many times before, and Du Plessis has proven him wrong every time. Hill thinks Du Plessis has better cardio and physical strength, which can challenge anyone in the division. He noted that Khamzat Chimaev has faded in past fights over the rounds. Hill also said Du Plessis has an awkward striking style that is hard to time or read, so he believes Du Plessis will land important shots. However, Hill warned not to count Chimaev out because he is one of the best natural grapplers and can surprise opponents with his skills.
I probably favor DDP in that one just for the simple fact of I've doubted this dude so many times now and he's shut me up bad every time. It may look like he's like fatiguing or he's like slowing down, but he's really not. I think he's got the better cardio. His physical strength, I believe, can pose a problem for anybody in that division. We've seen Khamzat fade over the course of rounds before. I just believe Dricus has a really awkward way of throwing strikes that's not easy to time, get a read on. So I believe he will land. So I probably lean more towards DDP, but you can't count a guy like Khamzat out. I believe he's one of the best natural pure grapplers. He does have the ability to throw some hands too. So it's interesting.
Ilia Topuria expressed admiration for both Khamzat Chimaev and Dricus Du Plessis, describing Chimaev as a fierce competitor who constantly seeks to finish his opponents rather than settle for a decision. He thinks Chimaev should get a title shot quickly. While he has close friendships with both fighters and holds them in high regard, Ilia views their upcoming fight as a thrilling contest for MMA fans and hopes both perform at their best.
He's the man. He's a savage. He calls his shots. He finishes his opponents. When he goes inside the octagon, you know that that guy goes for the finish. He's not looking for the decision. That's why I respect Khamzat. He's a beast. So he deserves to fight for the title as soon as possible. We're gonna have an amazing fight because I love Dricus Du Plessis. He's a great human being. I have a great relationship with him. I have a great relationship with Khamzat also. But as a fan of mixed martial arts, it's gonna be a very excited fight. I hope the best man wins, and I wish best of the luck to both of them.
Bo Nickel said he thinks Khamzat Chimaev holds the advantage over Dricus Du Plessis because of his powerful grappling skills. He admitted he might be a bit biased since he is a grappler himself, but pointed out that wrestling and grappling are currently the most effective techniques in MMA. Nickel mentioned fighters like Merab, Islam, Bilal, and Chimaev as examples showing how grappling is dominating the sport, and he noted that even strikers like Robert Whittaker have wrestling backgrounds. He explained that this style is very difficult to defend against.
I would, just based on the styles, I just think that the grappling style, I might be biased. I'm definitely biased, but I think the grappling style is so hard to beat, and it's so hard to defend against. And I guess if you look at it from a analytical point of view, you have so many. It's really become the dominant force in the sport. You got Merab, you got Islam, you got Bilal, you got Khamzat. You even have you can even look at Topuria. Obviously, people know he's more of a boxing style, and he does a lot more striking, but his background is wrestling. He did that before anything else. And so it's really wrestlers that are dominating, grapplers that are dominating the sport right now. And so I think that I would give the edge to Khamzat.
However, Nickel also recognized that Chimaev has not yet been tested in the later rounds, while Du Plessis has proven he can handle long fights. If the fight reaches the 4th or 5th round, Nickel believes Du Plessis might have the upper hand and could win. Still, he thinks grappling will be the key factor and gives the overall edge to Chimaev.
But we still have yet to see Khamzat ever fight a 4th and a 5th round. We've seen that from DDP, and so that's where he would have the advantage. If it goes deep, 4th and 5th round, I think that DDP might be able to pull it out, but all in all, I think the grappling style is definitely an overwhelming style to try to deal with.
Robert Whittaker said that Khamzat Chimaev's takedowns are very powerful and technically difficult to defend against. However, he views Dricus Du Plessis as a very tough and determined fighter who is hard to finish. Whittaker believes that if anyone can withstand Chimaev's early aggression, Du Plessis' strong durability and grit could change the momentum and give him a chance to win.
Khamzat and DDP, the next fight. Who do you think is going to walk away as the champion?
I can't see anyone really stopping Chimaev's takedowns. His takedowns are so hard to stop. It's super high level. can DDP drag it into those later rounds? Can it get through the first grappling exchanges and then start to capitalize on his just like persistence, like doggedness to go away? Honestly, if Chimaev can't get DDP out of there, DDP wins. DDP wins almost every fight. You can't get rid of him, right? Because he's like mold, dude.
Kamaru Usman said that taking Khamzat Chimaev's back in the first round is very difficult, and once Chimaev gets that position, it is hard to escape. He pointed out how strong Chimaev's grip is, noting how effectively he locked in submissions. Usman wondered if Chimaev could apply the same pressure and style against Dricus Du Plessis, recognizing that facing someone like Du Plessis could present unique challenges.
Khamzat Chimaev on your back in round 1 is not easy to get off. And then he was able to sink that in. And that goes to show how strong of a squeeze this freaking dude had.
Could he pull that same style against Dricus Du Plessis? Because I will say this.
1000%.
Dominic Cruz complimented Dricus Du Plessis for his striking skills and ability to switch stances, which aids in defending takedowns. He believes Du Plessis has the strength to match Khamzat Chimaev's power in the opening 2 rounds, a challenge many fighters struggle with. However, Cruz also admitted that this fight could be the hardest test of Du Plessis' career.
I actually really like Dricus right now, the way he's looking. Like I said in the Schmo interview, he doesn't really stay on the center line. His striking and the stance switch really supports him in the rest of the takedown defense. Because as long as you don't sit right in front of a guy consistently, it's hard to get a hold of the legs and shoot on you. So he's also very big and strong, so I think he can challenge the strength of Chimaev in the first 2 rounds, which a lot of people haven't been able to rival. Just the strength alone has been too much, and I think Dricus is sturdy enough and big enough he can challenge it, but I will say I think it might be the toughest fight of his career so far.
Tim Welch said he would like to see Khamzat Chimaev fight Sean Strickland, but thinks it would be tough for Khamzat because Strickland is good at getting back up after takedowns. He also noticed that Khamzat has been more respectful recently, especially before fights with top fighters. Still, Welch believes Dricus Du Plessis has a way of getting inside his opponent's head and might trigger the wild, aggressive side of Khamzat again, making their fight very exciting.
I mean, I would love to see Khamzat versus Strickland too. Khamzat said in training, I submitted him multiple times. In a fight, it's a little different. And Strickland, you've seen Strickland get dumped before. He is an expert at getting up. He's really good wrestling, really good jiu-jitsu. But just like you said, can you survive the first 3 minutes with that dude? Gnarly. I miss the crazy Khamzat, but now that he's getting into these top 5 elite guys, I mean, it's probably better that he's not crazy Khamzat.
Dude, I mean, that looked like crazy Khamzat to me.
All week being respectful of press conferences, respectful of like everything.
Yeah.
It was a lot different than he used to be.
DDP has a way of poking at opponents too, though, so you might be able to pull that crazy Khamzat back out of him.
I'd love to see DDP beat him.
Henry Cejudo said that while Khamzat Chimaev can finish any opponent quickly, he does not think that will happen against Dricus Du Plessis. He believes Du Plessis' ability to scramble and keep constant pressure will make it difficult for Chimaev. Henry Cejudo added that Chimaev will need to manage his energy and pace himself to last the full 5 rounds. Although he once thought Du Plessis was sloppy, Henry Cejudo now respects his high activity and toughness as a serious test for Chimaev.
Does Khamzat beat DDP?
Man, Khamzat could beat anybody in the world in about a round. It's super impressed with what he did to Robert Whittaker. I don't see that against DDP. DDP's scrambling, man. You're going to need to really be able to pace yourself for 5 rounds. And with DDP's train just continue to keep rolling and he's still steaming and his train's still hot. It depends on how long DDP wants to take a break. You're going to have to prepare, man, for a guy like DDP. You're going to need a 3-rounder, a 5-rounder to get ready, but I don't see it. I just don't see it. I think DDP's too, I used to think he was the sloppiest thing on planet Earth, and I thought the same thing about Rob until they bring that volume and just the tenacity. It changes everything.
Joe Rogan said that Khamzat Chimaev is an incredibly dangerous fighter because of his relentless pace and wrestling skills. He praised Chimaev's ability to control opponents and finish fights quickly. Rogan also mentioned that while Chimaev is dominant early, the real test will be whether he can maintain that intensity into the later rounds against tough fighters like Dricus Du Plessis.
Dana White confirms Khamzat Chimaev is next.
Dricus Khamzat is a pretty big fight that you guys could put on right now.
Yeah. I would give DDP the advantage over Khamzat right now.
Styles make fights, and you never seen
Dricus fight, good wrestler, and Khamzat's one of the best.
Khamzat just shoots from like 15 feet away and gets a hold of your
But I
legs.
look at the,
And you got to think his endurance is probably going to be better at 85 than it was at 70 because of the cut. For Khamzat, it's like 85 is really where he should have been all along.
But again, he gassed out against Usman. Usman went up to 85.
Usman's a world champion, you know. In the third round, Usman did what a world champion does. He rallied.
Luke Rockhold said that winning a fight is not always about technique, but about who has more desire. He described Khamzat Chimaev as a fighter who always gives his all and takes big risks. Rockhold believes that if Chimaev cannot dominate with wrestling or control his opponent early, he will struggle. He predicts that if the fight reaches the later rounds, such as the 3rd, 4th, or 5th, Dricus Du Plessis will have the advantage and likely take over the fight.
It's not always about the most technical guy, you know, it's the guy who wants it more. And
how do you think he fares against Khamzat?
I think Khamzat is a go for broke kind of guy. Khamzat, if he can't out wrestle you, he can't control you in that fierce state of direction of what he does, you know, I think he'll break. Khamzat will get him if he'll get him, but if he can't get him, it's going to be a hard 3rd, 4th, and 5th round.
Right.
I think that's going to be all Dricus.
So if it goes into the championship rounds, you like the champ?
Yeah, 100%.
Azamat Bakoev said that many people overlook the champion, Dricus Du Plessis, but he expects a hard battle for Khamzat Chimaev. While he recognizes Chimaev's power and skill in defeating many opponents, Bakoev believes the fight will be very close. He gives a small advantage to Chimaev, estimating about a 55% chance of winning.
Everybody underestimates the champion, Dricus Du Plessis, but I think it's going to be not easy fight for Khamzat Chimaev. But Khamzat Chimaev also strong. He destroyed a lot of fighters, and but I still think it's going to be close fight, and who knows who's gonna win? Maybe 55%. It's Chimaev, like that.
So what are your thoughts on this? What do you think about the matchup? We would love to hear your thoughts on this. So share your thoughts in the comment section and make sure to subscribe and like if you enjoyed the video. Also check out our other videos on the screen right now.